Okay, welcome everybody to the 2020 countdown from Ropeadope Records, if you will. My name is Lewis. I'm here at the Ropeadope room. Behind me is a lovely image of some of the records that we have released in the last 20 years. And on this program, we're going to run down the 69 singles and 75 records that we released in 2020. We're already 2 weeks in, so we're getting into the first reopening phase of 2020. I am joined here by my good friend, hello to 2021, Mr. Fabian Brown. How are you?
Listen, I'm doing great, Lewis. I'm doing really, really good, and I'm glad to be here in the new year. Still at the house, but I'm so glad to be here.
Yeah. 2021. I must say, I am apprehensive about this week. Woo, man! This is a tense time in American history, and we've made it through a lot, and we need to make it through the next couple of weeks. Not that the battle isn't going to rage on in the United States for some time, but I'm hoping that love and light and sense and real news and actual truth prevails throughout all of this, and my heart goes out to the people who are so misled that they are willing to tear down a country in the name of the country, which is very confusing to me. I can tell that there is some sort of inner illness that needs to be healed. We've got some healing going on here. It's called music. Today is going to be interesting because, Greg Spiro, formerly keys with Halsey and also Chicago native and trained in jazz as well, with lots of jazz friends. He left the road in order to do what he wants to do, and man, he wants to do a lot. Greg and I, it was funny. I think we met, we talked a little bit, our schedule was too busy, and then I can't remember what the spark of conversation was, but we got on the phone or on email maybe, and he was in Chicago, and I brought up an idea, and he's like, "That's a really great idea. We should sit down and talk about that." I'm like, "Great. Where are you?" He's like, "Chicago." I'm like, "Well, what?" He goes, "I'll be back in LA, tomorrow." I'm like, "Can you just fly through Philly?" And he said, "Sure." And he changed his flight, flew into Philly, and we sat down and we talked, and now all we didn't know where it was headed or whatever, and now we're seeing what happens. He has dropped 35, 40 singles, I think, this year, in the Tiny Records imprint. It's amazing.
I remember that day, him coming into our East Philly, a little piece of heaven.
Our previous flat, yeah.
And he sorry about that. He had the vibe. He had the artist vibe, but there was something very unique and different about Greg than most musicians that I run into. It was the way he was thinking, and it was his mind. He had a very strong sense of where he was going on the business side of things, which was just a different kind of conversation and vibe. And every time I talk with Greg, man, his ideas are just this big, and
right.
Not only does he have the music chops to back it up, but he has it upstairs too. So we came in with a song, one of the tracks from Chris Myers.
No, we did not. We did not. The intro contained the Judy Jackson cover. I switched that on you. Yeah. That was just the intro. We're gonna do this, Chris Myers. So you can go ahead and intro that. I'm gonna go there next.
Well, I love it. So Greg has a way. How did you say it before, Lewis? It's pre-genre and post-genre.
Simultaneously, yeah.
You never know what you're going to get with his network of musicians, and this one I kind of feel is in that pre-genre mode. You're going to hear from Chris Myers on drums. You're going to hear from Benjamin Shepard on the bass, and of course Greg Spiro on piano. So hope you enjoy this track.
And I just want to say it's been so busy in 2020 and he's been so prolific. I may not be hearing most of these for the first time, but I will be, but really hearing them for the first time. in such detail. So it's going to be fun to see how we feel about these now that they're already out. You had the Monday morning jitters. They're gone now. In the groove. In the groove. Chris Myers, Greg Spiro, and who on the bass there?
We had Benjamin. Sorry, just went away from it. We had Benjamin Shepard on bass, and we just heard the track "You Don't Know What Love Is." Great jazz standard there. Chris Myers again on drums and Greg on piano. What's great about that, Lewis, is again Greg's range of musical genre and prowess. You don't know what you're going to get when you hear Greg Spiro track, and that was a great way to start off my Monday morning. So thank you, sir.
I'm going to give a great example of that, and I'm going to jump ahead to this Lido track. Is that good? Let's go right there to show this contrast.
Let's play the song right now. What? Look, first off, my girl is fine. I'm like, baby, you make me feel like the world is mine. Type reacting, singing with Michael Jackson, the girl is mine. Clock stoppers, cause for you I make the world rewind. Thin waist, the curl is fine, and I can go like on and on about you. But right now I have to go like on and on without you. I see who you moving with, I counterintuitive if it wasn't counterintuitive. Beat it out the frame, girl, skip singing they songs. Trey songs promise the neighbors know my name, girl. But I'm not the same and you not the same, girl. You been with the lames, girl, so now you just a lame girl. Rick James, sick game, shift change, I switch lanes, girl. So much pleasure within so much pain, girl. But that's about it for you when I'm seeing you, and I hope you believe it too. One. It's official. Yeah. What? Baby got an issue. Once I gotta never give it back. I'll never give it back. I'll never give it. No. I'll never give it back. I'll never give it. I'll never give it back. I'll never give it back. I'll never give it. I'll never give it back. I'll never give it back. I'll never give it. I'll never give it back. I'll never give it back. I'll never give it. I'll never give it back. GC snapping, please read captions. You gotta give your woman space when she's reacting, but not too much space that she forget about you. Keep snapping. He could easily eat 3 aspirin, stressing. She got more games than E3 action with 3D action. But dig it though, you're still beautiful and it can go down still. But if we don't discuss the issue, it all goes downhill. My scene ain't seen a queen, she got the crown still. But I could bet like 7,000 clams that she don't want me around still. She don't want me around still. But baby, now that it's official, but I'm always around still. I swear I never treated you bad. Baby, got the issues that once I gotta never give you back to anybody ever again. So I'll never give you back. I'll never give it back. I'll never give it. I'll never give it back. I'll never give it back. I'll never give it. I'll never give it back. I'll never give it back. I'll never give it. I'll never give it back. I'll never give it back. I'll never give it. I'll never give it back. I'll never give it. I'll never give it back. I'll never give it back. I'll never give it. I'll never give it back. I'll never give it back. I'll never give it. I'll never give it back. I'll never give it back. I'll never give it back.
You know,
we had Greg Spiro on piano. We had Chelsea Allen on drums. We had Solomon Dorsey on bass, Lito on vocals, and Javon, the MC, on that. You know, you guys are familiar. You know, Lito is that producer from he's a Norwegian producer. Javon is from Seattle rapper. And, you know, again, this is just another testament to Greg Spiro's phenomenal network and ability to cross genres. You know, I don't know, hip hop, jazz, kind of gospel vibe, if you will. I don't know, Louis. What would you call that? Would you call that? I have no idea.
Well, you know what? I won't call it. I'll call it Tiny Room. I'll call it Tiny Records. I mean, you know, it's funny. I queued those two up as what would seemingly be disparate styles of music, and you know what? They're not that far in my ear. They're really not. I was reminded a lot of Bright Dog Red in that process. With it, you know, I feel like there's, you know, some definite, if not like Bright Dog Red is completely improvised, but I don't believe that this is completely improvised, but I sense some space in there, some room to kind of riff, you know, as will always be with an MC, right? You know, you can't do that all rehearsed, right? So love the vibe, love it. I am looking at, you know, go to Tiny Records Bandcamp page. It's like, it's a lesson in and of itself to go and listen to all this stuff. We had enough trouble trying to match everything up and make sure we had the right tracks. I hope we did. I hope we got it right. Because it's just like, bam, a single a week, and he just keeps going. And he's, you know, so prolific in 2020 and before. And I can't wait until he gets the studio up again and people in there, because it's just going to keep coming. It's a whole new thing. I mean, Greg Spiro may single-handedly kill the album format. I don't think so, but you know, he certainly has developed something that's super interesting. I've seen people drop tracks regularly, and it's, you know, they might have all been recorded in the same session. It may all be the same musicians playing on each one. So while it's interesting, it becomes repetitive. This is not repetitive in any way. It's like I don't know. It's like a subscription, and you don't know what you're going to get. And the box shows up at your door.
He has a vault, Lewis, of music. You know, just tracks upon tracks, and he has a great setup. You know, we've been to a spot over there in LA. You know, I can imagine just Greg having a mixer, and then, you know, turning on the record button and just going for it.
But also well produced though, and recorded though. It's not casual in any way. And he's got a new studio coming up, so. Here's the thing you can do. You can find Tiny Records on Facebook. You can find Tiny Records on Bandcamp. Make sure you hit that follow button, because there's more to come. He's already scheduled out into 2021, and there's going to be a lot more. But first, you've got some homework to do. Catch up. I want to ask you, Fabian, a quick question. Did we pick a winner for the weekly shipment of the Big Bag of Dope, which is a box of Rope-a-Dope swag for free to one of the people who has shared this? Do you want to take a look at that while I queue up this next track, and we'll bring it?
I'll take a look at last week's winner, and then by the time we get back, I'll make that announcement for us.
All right, this one just says Greg Spiro, so let's see what's in this box of chocolates. Well, that was a full assault right out of the gate on the ears. Sorry about that. I wanted to hold that one until last, but that's Greg doing his thing live. I kept reading I hadn't heard this track, right? So I'm like, Babado Bat. What does that mean? And as soon as the track started, it's Babadoo Bat. Got it. Got it. Babadoo Bat. Babadoo Bat.
Babadoo Bat. Babadoo Bat.
Got it. Yeah. Well, I mean, it takes me a minute to get the groove. I found it, but it takes me a minute. So
that was.
Yeah.
We had Gerald Gary on drums, and we had Dan Onceover on bass, and of course Greg's on keys and synthesizer. And like you said, dude, it was screaming right out of the gate.
Yeah.
And you can tell the live energy. I can just imagine being at that show, being at that moment, and really just it's one of those like you're just, you know what I mean? You're just right there the whole time. So.
All right,
we're gonna distinct different sounds coming from Greg Spiro. I absolutely love it, Lewis. Absolutely love it.
Now here's where we get something different. So Greg put the Spirit Fingers record out on Rope It Up this year before all of this madness began, and he has another record that he's recorded a lot of stuff for, and he's continuing to add vocals to. And I took a listen to this stuff, and I thought, this is a Chicago scene. I mean, Greg's hanging with. Mackay McCraven and Joel Ross, like people from Chicago who are in the scene, and he's part of that scene, though he moved to Los Angeles. And I thought we need to just call this the Chicago Experiment. And if you're not familiar, the Philadelphia Experiment was a classic. I'd say the Philadelphia Experiment really kind of put Rope It Up on the scene in jazz. Christian McBride, Questlove, and Uri Kane. We went on to do the Detroit Experiment with Carl Craig, and of course Aaron Levinson on all of the Experiment series as producer, but Carl Craig on Detroit, which is appropriate, and then the Harlem Experiment, Aaron again getting up into East Harlem and playing with some serious cats, and now it's time to bring this series back in 2020 and beyond, and here's Chicago. So Greg is curating the Chicago Experiment, and we just, dropped a track real early just so you could get the vibe, and we'll be working on this. Kind of got delayed by COVID, but, we're going to work on this through 2021. And I think that you're going to see, we want to do some other cities. We want to do New Orleans. Y'all can post in the comments who you might guess would be the curator of the New Orleans Experiment, and maybe even throw in some suggestions of who you might want to see on that record, because that's going to be starting from the ground up. And I want to do Los Angeles, and I want to do Miami, and I want to do Havana, and I want to do Paris, and I want to do London. That could well be what we produce in the future. So let's start with Chicago, though. Big scene, big scene.
So Nice, So Smooth, another track from Greg Spiro. Maxwell Street, we had Greg Spiro on piano, Marcus Hill on trumpet, Micaiah McCraven on drums. We had Darnell Jones on bass, Joel Ross on vibraphone, Irvin Pierce on sax, and Mr. Jeff Parker on guitar. And Lewis, I got to say, man, what a great slideshow of what you're putting there together.
I love
I had
that.
those chops, man.
I love that track. You know, the greatest part about that is it sounds definitively Chicago in the production. Joel Ross, of course, you know, I mean, vibes are interesting, right? So, you know, to make vibes sound different than the standard is really interesting to me. On the album, The Chicago Experiment, coming out in 2021, we will see Greg Spiro, Micaiah McCraven, Marquise Hill, Joel Ross, Irvin Pierce, Jeff Parker, and Darrell Jones, and more names to be announced. We're lining up who's going to be on that. If you're a vocalist and you want to get involved, give us a shout. Let's jump into another single, Transviolet.
He said he's from the Hamptons. I said I never heard of it. He said he's got a girlfriend, but she's gone for the weekend to Manhattan. She's got no tourniquet. She bleeds her parents' money, splitting 8 bars with Elliot. Find his name on the guest list. He's a +1, he's a novelty. He's just something for all the rich girls to play with. I'm not one to get violent. I'm a pacifist, so low-key. But I'm imagining my brains on his carpet in the Hamptons. Met her in Los Angeles, sitting on the pavement. She said her card was declined and her ex-girlfriend was stranded at the airport. And she just needed $15 for gas money, 'cause this kid was lost without her. It's not all her fault, and you know her dad's a creep, he's a nightmare. He started hooking up with her friend from high school. Don't think she's out there, she's damaged. She's a handful, a catastrophe. She said she'd die before she'd go back to that hellhole in the Hamptons. He sighs when nothing's good enough. You hurt the ones you love. You hurt the ones you love, 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 love. It's never good enough, and there's no place for love. No, there's no place for love, love, love. In the Hamptons.
And right back to that calm Monday morning feel. Love that. So soothing. So soothing. That's Transviolet with Greg Spiro.
Yeah, we had Greg Sparrow on keys, of course. We had Dmitry Gorodeski on bass, Gene Coy on drums, and on those vocals, we had Sarah McTaggart. And another, listen, Greg, thanks for all the phenomenal music. Lewis, I have a winner from last week's Bag of Dope, but maybe you want to share with the audience what the whole Bag of Dope thing is all about?
It's a big bag of dope. It's legal. Trust me. Since we're live, I want to clarify that. We'll grab a couple of T-shirts and some music, and maybe some collectibles from the just scrap pieces from the Rope-a-Dope archives. I've got all kinds of things in the drawer from the old days, Japanese imports and Project Logic stickers and things like that. Just a little collection of goodies. You don't know what it's going to be. Shows up at your door, and we're giving one away this week to...
Giving it away to Mr. Bob Magnuson. Congratulations,
the saxophonist.
Yeah, I would actually call him, he's a saxophonist. I would actually call him a woodwind specialist. He's a beast.
And the tone, he's on the Michael Whalen and the Fire Brigade record, and he's not just on it; he's on it. It's like, you're listening and you're like, oh, there's that sax, yeah. So great, congratulations to Bob. If you share this show, tell people about it. Even post in the comments. We're going to pick somebody next week on Monday to get yet another big bag of dope. So please do let people know. Fabian, I feel like I might just say this live on air. As challenging as it is and as disruptive to my morning schedule,
yeah.
I think when we get finished with this, I'm going to continue doing a morning show throughout 2021.
That's exciting.
That's a big commitment. I'm still playing around with the name. I'm considering calling it Now, or Here and Now, or I'm considering calling it the Hype Filter. So we're going to talk about music. We're going to talk about life. We're going to talk about books, talk about poetry, talk about spoken word, talk about art, culture, clothing, fashion, politics, and kind of what we're going to do with this show. And I think we talked about this the other day. We've got, another week or so? But this is going to wrap on January 15th in honor of Martin Luther King Day coming up on the 18th. I've put together all the tracks from 2020 that have some commentary on social justice, Black Lives Matter, and positive truths to effect change in these here United States of America. So that'll be a dedicated show. On that, we'll have folks like Blacklight Collective, Bright Dog Red, Jillian Margot, Gordon Campbell, Angelo Moore of Fishbone fame with his band The Brand New Step, Clifton Anderson, Trulio Disgracias, and also something from Kin for Life and Christian Scott Atunde Ajwa. Trulio Disgracias is Norwood Fisher and a large collective of people, and Trulio Disgracias is a rhyming commentary on Julio Iglesias. So, in case you didn't know, Trulio Disgracias. We said that live, and then I think on MLK Day we're gonna get together some people and we're gonna talk about the United States of America 2021 on MLK Day, and we're going to do it as a fundraiser. We're going to have some interesting things and donate some money yet again to the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, which is helping people who have been unfairly treated by the police, and helping families of people who have been killed to pursue their cases and again put the legal pressure on to try to affect change in the U.S. So that's it. We also, I have ideas for Women's History Month or Women's. How do they title that? The Women's Month? It's not Women's History Month, is it?
Yeah, it's not Women's History Month. I think it's just Women's Month. But
Women's
I'm not.
Month, great.
Someone's going to correct me on that. So.
Yeah, please correct us. Tell me I'm wrong. I'd love to hear it. And then Black History Month. So and then of course that'll all lead up again to Juneteenth. And we're really just going to take some of these, people's history kind of vibe, the holidays that are often overlooked, that are non-commercial, that actually have meaning and purpose, and center around some of those. So really, really looking forward to developing some things in 2021, and I hope you will be around as often as you can. I am not in any way asking you to show up every morning for the rest of the year, because I know you've got a busy life. But I'll be here, and you can pop in anytime you like.
I will be here.
All right. We're going to go out with a track that I want to direct people. So tiny-records.bandcamp.com is a place where you can set aside some time, folks, and dig into the things that Greg Spiro has put together. I personally suggest buying each track and popping it in and putting it on shuffle. It's a fun way to go about it. High quality downloads. And you can also find plenty more music at downloads.ropeadope.com. You can find clothing in the Ropeadope store. That's ropeadope.com. Just click on the store button. We have Christian Scott tees. We have some great Ropeadope limited edition tees as well. And, of course, there's vinyl there and CDs. And what have I forgotten? Support independent artists every day.
Yeah. Lewis, it's as easy as a like, comment, and share. That goes a long way. It's as easy as a download, as easy as a stream. It's weird, man. Going into 2021, what I'm finding, a lot of my personal friends in my network, they're running to the internet to discover new music every single day. And my definition of new music is, if you've never heard it before, it's brand new, regardless of when it actually was released. So,
Great
doing
point.
this countdown, man, for me, it's been awesome, because it, gets me to revisit all my favorite tracks that I've heard throughout the year, and be intentional, and then we get to share it out with our friends and our family out there. So, thanks for doing this. Thanks for hosting this. I think it's an awesome idea. Tomorrow, we got some bangers coming up tomorrow. So, stay tuned. Coming up, we have music from, oh my goodness, you're going to love this. We have music coming from Nierfelder,
Nice.
La Picco's Orchestra from Todd Clouser, The Flowdown, Darducci, Jason Miles, yes, that Jason Miles, Brendan Nicole Moyer, and Cheering Goalie. So we have, I don't know, and I know this playlist is going to be awesome too, Liz. I don't know how you do that either, but that's great. So tune in tomorrow. We're here Monday through Friday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks so much, Lewis.
Fantastic. Thank you for co-hosting, Fabian Brown. We're going to play the last track, although I believe the cover, we had questions about the title of this track, so I just put it down as Emotional, but I think the album art tells the real title. Everybody, thank you for supporting independent artists. Please join us again. We've got a couple more weeks of this, and it's a lot of artists are watching this, and they want to see you, they want to hear from you, they want to get the word out directly to you. So join us. We just had to come back in for that.
So I was telling Lewis offline. First of all, on that track, my favorite people, Mono Neon on bass, formerly known as Poly Neon.
Yes.
Spud Seawright on drums from RSVP Records, and obviously Greg Spiro on keys, and Rustlin Sorota on keys as well. I was telling Lewis, I can't remember if it was my first time meeting Mono Neon or my 10th time meeting him, but he came to the office, at Ropeadope, and the whole crew was there. The Ghost Note, all the fellas were there hanging out. We had just gotten some food, and we're just kind of chilling out before they were playing a festival in Philadelphia, I believe. And everyone's just kind of chilling and hanging. And there's Mono. He's all by himself, like in the corner in a chair. And we have this extension cord. He's holding up this extension cord, and it has all these adapters on it, right? And he's just hitting the extension cord, and he's meowing like a kitten. Meow. Meow. And
One of a
at
kind.
first I was going to go and say something, but I was like, no, that's who he is,
There's
96
something to
degrees
be
outside,
said.
We're in a full Scully.
There's something to be said for entertaining yourself and others simultaneously. So big shout to Mono Neon. He's got a new record out. I think people should go over and check him out. If you don't know Mono Neon, dig in, man. Dig in. And Spud Seawright, the connector. I owe so much to him for connecting me with so many people, and always love to hear his drumming, and I love to hear him on keys as well, as you'll note in the Terrace Martin Velvet Portraits record. There's some amazing work there. All right, sir. I'm going to sign off this time for real. We'll see y'all tomorrow.
Thanks, Lewis.